Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to talk about the main event in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, between Mbilli versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko, in a fight that could have been better. It was labeled to be and hyped to be a firefight. Pretty good action fight, and it could have been, even though the circumstances, it turned out to be a pretty decent scrap. Coming in, Mbilli was ranked highly by the organizations. The interim, he's walking around with a WBA strap. I think it's the international WBA title. He was ranked. He was actually supposed to fight Canelo Alvarez. We all know what happened. Canelo ended up going with Edgar Berlanga for this 14th of September. Now, Mbilli chose Sergiy Derevyanchenko. Tough warrior, Ukrainian fighter, over 300 amateur fights. Been in there with some of the best of the sport, from Jaime Munguia to Triple G, Charlo, Daniel Jacobs, and each one of those fighters that I just mentioned that Sergey has fought, he's given them hell. He's given them tremendous fights. He made them earn their money. He came up short in all those fights, though. He did not win any of them. Sergey is a likable fighter. Fun to watch, warrior, heart of a lion. Showed that against Mbilli. And coming into this fight for me, even though Mbilli was labeled as the favorite, undefeated, strong, hard puncher, comes forward, I felt that Sergey could have gotten it done. I had a feeling in my gut that this was Sergey's time, this was Sergey's night. Because Mbilli, yes, he's strong, he hits hard, he's young, he has flaws that Sergey had what it took to take advantage of and had a chance to win the fight. He was the better boxer coming in. He had good punching power and durability, where he could have taken Mbilli's shots and come back, because he's been in there with big punchers before. And all that was, Sergey was doing that. He was taking big shots, coming back, even at times when he got hit hard and he held on, he would turn Mbilli to get back in the center of the ring, get away from the ropes to unload his shots. Now, after the second or third round, he threw a jab and he tore his bicep. Remember, I actually wanted Sergey to finally get this big win that he so rightfully deserved after coming up short in his biggest fights in all those 5 losses. Because he's always been a good fighter, a warrior, a likable fighter, likable guy. And, I actually wanted him to finally get this big win that he so rightfully deserved, like I said. And based on what I saw, it could have happened. And why it didn't happen? Well, he threw a jab and he tore his left bicep. Which means he was fighting with one arm throughout majority of the fight. So it tore in the second and third. After that, Sergey was just fighting on one arm. And here's the thing. This is how good and how much of a warrior Sergey is. That's painful as hell. So to continue to box for the remainder of the fight. Remember, you tore your bicep in the second and third round. You got 4 rounds. You got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds to go. 7 more rounds to go. And Sergey's out there doing it like nothing. He's shooting his right hand, whether it's uppercut, a right hook, a right hand, and he's actually having success with that right hand because he cannot throw the left. He tore his bicep. So he's showing his mettle. He's showing the pedigree that he has, of an amateur pedigree, the amateur pedigree that he has. Because while only using the right hand, you can see he actually was winning rounds with that right hand. He was hitting Mbilli with right hands, uppercuts, right hooks, pot shotting him, placing his punches, doing what he wanted to do with that right hand. And I'm saying to myself, I'm watching the fight, I'm like, wow, that's a shame and that sucks because if Sergey had both hands, if he was able to use both hands in the fight, Sergey would have beaten Mbilli. I don't care what nobody says. Sergey would have beaten Mbilli because if he was using both hands, imagine he was bothering Mbilli with right hand, with one hand. And there was a point in time where Mbilli was hurt. I think it was a stumble there that I think it was Sergey hit a hook, hit a hard right hand on the knees of Mbilli, and Mbilli like turned around and you know based on the referee's angle, it looked like a slip, and the referee didn't call it. He didn't step in, and it was just as soon as Mbilli turned around, Sergey was just lighting him up with with the right hand, and Mbilli was hurt. And Tim Bradley was like, "Wait, did he hurt Mbilli? What?" And right there, if Mbilli was getting, it was if right there, if Sergey was unloading his combination, because Sergey is one of the best combination punchers in the weight class. If Sergey was unloading his right hands, left hooks, uppercuts with both hands, he's a fluent combination puncher, not boxer, but puncher, because he got power. Mbilli would have been on the canvas. Mbilli would have gotten stopped. Think about it. He was hurt and bothered with the right hand. Imagine if Sergey was unloading with his combinations. Like how he did Munguia, like how he did Triple G. Snapping back the head of those guys, elite fighters. Mbilli was tailor-made. He was right there for the taking for Sergey to unload his power shots. But unfortunately, and it sucks, that he tore his bicep. This was supposed to be his night, the night that he finally got the big win to make more money, continue his career, to finally have a chance at a world title, and unfortunately, he tore his bicep. So he could not. He was being held back. He was in there like he had his hands tied up to a rope. One hand tied. As a fan of Sergey, it was very frustrating to watch. Because you knew if you were watching the fight, you knew that Sergey had Mbilli. He could have beaten Mbilli if he had both his hands. It's one of the most unfortunate situations for a fighter. He was being held back. He was trying his best with the right hand. He didn't want to give up. Not taking anything away from Mbilli. Mbilli, he's a strong young puncher. Comes to fight, very exciting to watch, and he's a problem in the weight class. But I felt if Sergey had both hands and he did not tore his bicep, Sergey would have been the one coming out victorious, because Mbilli would not have been able to handle the combinations when Sergey gets going. Sergey gets stronger as the fight progresses, and because of his bicep being torn, he was held back big time. But it is what it is. Sergey, at 38 years old, 6 losses now. I don't know if I think he's going to retire. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. I think he should. My mind said rematch. Let's do it again. Both hands healthy. But at this point, I don't know. I don't know if Top Rank or anybody's going to give him another opportunity like this. But because this was supposed to be the night where Sergey shines. This was supposed to be the night where Sergey wins, or that's it. And unfortunately, due to the bicep being torn, he was held back, and he was not able to perform at his best. Majority of the fight, Sergey was just fighting on pure heart and with one hand. Mbilli was lucky. Sergey only had one hand. But Mbilli goes on to bigger and better things. He got the decision, obviously. Sergey likely going to retire. Over 300 amateur fights. Has been in there with some of the best. Has been in some wars. Tore his bicep at 38 years old. I think this is it, unfortunately. If he comes back, it's going to be definitely more than It's gonna be almost probably a year until he comes back because he's gonna have to recover from that torn bicep, have surgery, rehab. So I don't know. But yeah, that's how I think. That's how I feel about the fight, guys. Mbilli, he's a good fighter, but I just felt Sergey had it for him. But unfortunately, the bicep was torn and limited Sergey's performance big time. Let me know what you guys think about the fight. Let me know what you guys think. What would have happened if Sergey did not tear his bicep? Would he have beaten Mbilli? I think so. Um, I think so. Mbilli did not really. I said not to take away anything from Billy. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a hard puncher, very young, comes to fight. But I don't want to really give him the credit, man, because he beat a Sergey with one hand. That's just how it is. Unfortunately, that's how I see it. You know, of course, if Mbilli had beaten Sergey with two hands, with his two hands, then it is what it is, different. But we all know the circumstances. We all know what happened. Whoever watched the fight, it was a very unfortunate situation for Sergey and all of Sergey boxing fans around the world. And those who know boxing, man, I mean, you saw it. Sergey with one hand was bothering Mbilli. He had him hurt at times. He was doing what he wanted with him, with one hand. Imagine if he had both hands and letting go his combinations. The right hands, the left hooks, the left uppercut, the right uppercut. You know who Sergey is, man. Listen, I was furious. I was like, no, this was supposed to be Sergey's up moment. This was supposed to be his coming out party, the big win of his career that he so rightfully deserves, and this one happens. You gotta be kidding me. And Mbilli's right there for the taking. And Sergey cannot let his hands go because he tore his bicep. It is what it is situation, man. And unfortunate. But Mbilli will be back. I've said it before, Mbilli's a problem. You know, even after this fight, he's still a problem. Not everyone is Sergey. So whoever's in front of Mbilli, you better have a chin. You better be strong. You better have heart because Mbilli's gonna come and give it to you, and he's gonna hit you hard. He's gonna come and knock you out. So he's a good fighter. He was supposed to fight Canelo Alvarez, like I said earlier in my video, but I think Canelo would have beaten him. You know, he's young, strong, hits hard, but Canelo too much experience. Very good defense, excellent counterpuncher. Berlanga is gonna find that out soon. And that's that. But all in all, man, it was a good night of boxing. Abdullah Mason shined, one of the best and most exciting prospects / contenders on the rise. Only 20 years old. He's fun to watch, man. He's a future. That kid is special. That kid is special. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Jose Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, guys. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.